Today we will see nervous system anatomy. So nervous system which conducts nerve impulses between body structures and control the body functions. And the functions are of a sensory which carries the impulses from different parts of the body like skin, mucous membrane, muscles, tendons, joints, and special sense organs like the vision, hearing. They have been taken from the periphery to the central nervous system. So sensory inputs or afferent inputs goes to the brain or the central nervous system. Now the motor impulses which are starting from the central nervous system that reaches the effector organ. It can be muscles or glands through motor impulses or motor output or efferent output. Nervous system can be broadly divided into central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. There are different cells which are seen in the nervous tissue. Functionally, they can be a neuron and the second one that is neuroglia. Neurons are also called nerve cells and the function is conduction. They can be of variable size, shape and function. So the neuron has a cell body and cell processes. A long process called axon, short processes called dendrites. Other cells which can be seen in this area are neuroglia. Neuroglia are supportive cells. Again, neuroglia are of different types. Central nervous system includes two components: brain called encephalon, spinal cord or spinal medulla. Spinal cord, spinal medulla, which is the continuation of brain. Brain is seen in the cranial cavity inside the skull, which is covered by meninges or membranes. They are from outer to inner. So meninges can be seen here, and the brain. The meninges, which consist of three layers from outer to inner: dura, arachnoid, pia. Dura, arachnoid, and the pia mater, which is represented here as blue color, which is adherent to the brain, and it reaches into the sulci of brain. So dura, arachnoid, and the pia mater. Dural matter, dura mater has two layers: periosteal layer and a meningeal layer. Periosteal layer is close to the bone, and meningeal layer is placed on the inner aspect of periosteal layer. They are very close with each other generally, but in some areas like this, the two layers of the dura, the periosteal layer and the meningeal layer, they separate. They separate, and in the separations, there are collection of blood, and they are called sinuses. Sinuses. So this area is a sinus, where the two layers of the dura mater separates. Different parts of central nervous system: the brain, the cerebrum, cerebellum. Cerebrum is this one. Cerebrum, cerebellum, called little brain, which is seen below and behind the brain, the cerebrum. Brainstem, consisting of midbrain, pons, medulla. Peripheral nervous system has two components: somatic and visceral. Somatic is supplied by, or somatic system consists of cerebrospinal nerves. So it can be called as cerebrospinal component And the cerebral nerves are the cranial nerves, and the spinal nerves are here as mentioned as spinal nerves. So somatic component has again two parts or two types of nerves here. As I mentioned before, 12 pair of nerves which are coming from the cerebrum called cranial nerves, and 31 pair of nerves which are coming from the spinal cord called spinal nerves. The next component is visceral component or autonomic nervous system. This has another names like splanchnic nerves or visceral components, since it is going to supply the viscera, the inner organs. Two subdivisions on this, sympathetic and parasympathetic component. So peripheral nervous system has got somatic component and visceral component. Somatic component, which is going to supply the body wall, whereas visceral component is going to supply the inner aspect, the inner viscera. Cranial nerves are 12 pairs. 12 pairs. They are numbered as olfactory, or they're named as the first one olfactory, second one optic, oculomotor, trochlear, trigeminal, abducent, facial, vestibulocochlear, glossopharyngeal, vagus, accessory, hypoglossal nerves. Olfactory nerves deals with the smell. So the smell sensations from the nose are taken by olfactory nerves. So it's a special sensation. Optic nerve. Optic nerve is the nerve which takes the vision, the sensation of the vision from visual stimuli from the eyeball to the brain. Oculomotor nerve. Oculomotor, as the name suggests, it is motor to the oculi. So it mainly supplies the eyeball, the muscles of the eyeball, which helps to move the eyeball. Trochlear nerve is again destined to supply the eyeball. It also causes some motor activity onto the muscles of eyeball. Trigeminal nerve, which is a fifth cranial nerve, which has got three divisions, major divisions. That is why it is called trigeminal nerve. Abducent nerve, again this nerve is going to supply the eyeball. So there are three nerves which are going to the eyeball for the movements of eyeball: oculomotor, trochlear, abducent. They can move the eyeball. Seventh one is facial nerve, which mainly supplies the face muscles. Vestibulocochlear nerve. Vestibulocochlear consists of two parts: vestibular part taking the sensation of balance, cochlear for the hearing sensation. Glossopharyngeal, this nerve related to the tongue, supplying the tongue and the pharynx. Vagus nerve is a wandering nerve which has a long course which reaches up to the intestine, large intestine. Accessory nerve. Accessory nerve is a nerve which supplies muscles, some muscles, skeletal muscles like trapezius, sternocleidomastoid. They are supplied by accessory nerve. Hypoglossal nerve, as the name suggests, hypo below, glossal tongue. So this nerve is seen below the tongue, and this nerve is supplying the tongue. Now, olfactory nerve is a sensory nerve. Optic nerve, again sensory. Oculomotor is a motor nerve. Trochlear nerve, motor nerve. Trigeminal is a mixed nerve. It has motor and sensory component. Abducent nerve is a motor nerve. Facial nerve has mixed component, sensory and motor. Vestibulocochlear is a sensory nerve. Glossopharyngeal is a mixed nerve. So it has sensory and motor components. Vagus nerve is again a mixed nerve. Accessory nerve is a motor nerve. Hypoglossal nerve is again a motor nerve. So we have seen the cranial nerves and which type it belongs to, whether it is sensory, motor, or mixed. Coming to the spinal cord. Spinal cord is a continuation of the brain, as we said before. It continues below the skull. So it starts from the foramen magnum. Foramen magnum is a foramen, largest foramen that is seen at the base of the skull. So it extends from there to the lower border of L1 vertebra, and it is present in the vertebral canal. So this is the vertebral canal that is seen in a vertebra. So this area is vertebral canal, almost round in shape and covered with meninges. Brain is covered by meninges, dura, arachnoid, pia. Same layers, they will continue in the spinal cord. There are two things that you should know while talking about the nervous system. The two commonly used words. Let's see that. So that's regarding the cell bodies and cell processes. Collection of cell bodies of the neuron. We are talking about a neuron. The neuron has a cell body and cell processes. Now, in the nervous system, the cell bodies are located in one area and cell processes are located in other area. They're grouped. Cell processes are grouped. Cell bodies are grouped. So whenever we see a collection of cell bodies in the central nervous system, that is called as gray matter or nuclei. There's a slight difference between this. We will talk about that. Now, the same neurons, the collection of cell bodies of the neurons, if it is present in the peripheral nervous system, then we call it as ganglia. Now, let's see the collection of cell processes inside the central nervous system. They are called as tract or white matter. Whereas the collection of cell processes outside central nervous system, that is in the peripheral nervous system, they are called as nerves. So let's explain a little more in this aspect. Collection of cell bodies. So here the gray matter is the collection of cell bodies. So this area cell bodies are located. The cell processes are arising from it and they move into the center of the brain and it passes through the spinal cord. There are fibers which are ascending fibers and descending fibers as well. All of them are the cell processes. So they can be called as white matter. So they are white matter. White matter is a collection of cell processes which is present inside the central nervous system. Now, the cell bodies are located here. Collection of cell bodies here, and that is called as gray matter. So I think it's clear: gray matter and white matter. Now, ganglia. Ganglia is a collection of cell bodies outside central nervous system. So this is the central nervous system, the brainstem. Outside the brainstem, there is a collection of cell bodies, the neuron cell bodies, nerve cell bodies, and this is ganglion. Ganglion is a singular term, ganglia is a plural term. So ganglion can be seen here. Whereas the cell bodies, which are located in the ganglia, nerve cell bodies, cell processes comes out from the cell body. These processes are called as nerve. So this is collection of nerve cell process outside central nervous system or in the peripheral nervous system. Then this is called as nerve. Nerve. Now there is a slight difference between gray matter and the nuclei. So as I said before, this is the area where uh, the cell bodies, the nerve cell bodies are located in this area, and the fibers comes out. So this is called as gray matter. While coming to the inner aspect of the brain, so there are again collection of cell bodies which are located within the core of the brain, within the core of the brain, and when the nerve cell bodies are located within the core of the brain, we can call it as ganglia. Ganglia, or the, I'm very sorry for that. When you see a collection of nerve cell bodies inside the white matter, you call it as nuclei. Nuclei. Okay, ganglia are seen outside the central nervous system, as you can see here. But when you see collection of nerve cell bodies inside the core of the brain, you can call it as nuclei. So these are the nucleus. Thalamus, it's a nuclei. So in the central nervous system, we have gray matter and nuclei. Gray matter are the collection of nerve cell bodies which can be seen on the periphery, and they give cell processes called as white matter. Inside the white matter, there is again collection of nerve cell bodies, another set of nerve cell bodies. They are called as nuclei. Nuclei. So there's a slight difference between gray matter and nuclei. And the nuclei also sends fibers, and that forms the white matter. Again, the white matter that can be coming from the nuclei, or it can go into the nuclei. So there are descending and ascending fibers, or descending and ascending tracts. The neuron has a cell body called soma, and the cell processes. It can be axon or dendrites. Cell body is called the perikaryon, having the nucleus and nasal granules in the cytoplasm. Cell processes are called neurites. It can be of short dendrites and long axon. Axon has branches occasionally, and they are in uniform diameter, and they are long compared to the dendrites. The end of the axon can be called as axon terminal or telodendria. So as we discussed before, the cell bodies of the neurons form gray matter or nuclei in the central nervous system and ganglia in the peripheral nervous system. The cell processes in the central nervous system is called tract. Outside the central nervous system, it can be called as nerves. There are different types of neurons, and it can be classified according to different ways. The first one is according to the number of processes. So the processes, looking at the processes, we are going to divide the neurons into different types. The first one is unipolar. As the name suggests, unipolar. So it's a single process that's coming out, and this is a unipolar neuron. Example is mesencephalic nucleus, which is located in the midbrain. Pseudo unipolar, as the name suggests, it is pseudo, so it is false unipolar. So the nerve cell process comes out as a single process, but it divides into two. And these are seen in sensory ganglia, dorsal root ganglia of the spinal nerve, which is also called as spinal ganglia. And the two processes can be one can be going to the central nervous system, and one is this is called the central process, and this is called the peripheral process. So the single process giving rise to two process again, and one is central process, and the other one is peripheral process. Bipolar neurons. So the nerve cell process are of two in this. This one and this one, two processes. They can be seen in spiral and vestibular ganglia, which are related to the eighth cranial nerve, and also can be seen in the retina. Retina is the deepest layer that can be seen in the eyeball. The multipolar neuron. Multipolar neurons, as the name suggests, it has a lot of cell processes which are coming from different poles of the cell body. There are dendrites, axons, and so on. They are seen in cerebellum and the brain, cerebrum. This is another classification according to the size of the neuron. Golgi type 1 and Golgi type 2 neurons. Golgi type 1 neurons have a long axon. So they have generally a long axon. So they are having long axons, and they are seen in the cortex Example is pyramidal cells of cerebral cortex. Pyramidal cells give rise to the pyramidal tract, which is the largest descending tract, and Purkinje cells of the cerebellar cortex. So again seen in the cerebellum and also seen in the anterior horn of the spinal cord, motor cells of the spinal cord. Golgi type 2 neurons have a short axon, which are again seen. These are short axons, short axon. They are seen in cerebellum and the cerebrum. So cerebellum and the cerebrum, they have different layers. So in some layers you will see Golgi type 1, and in some you will see Golgi type 2. So we have still more on CNS. We will continue maybe in the next class. Thank you.